So I have a question for you. I was listening to the audiobook version of Surely You're Joking, Mr. Feynman. Is it fair to say that that was one of our most favorite book when you were growing up?
Yeah. It was quite inspirational and all the stories and the stuff he does. Richard Feynman is a very popular physicist from Caltech. That was where he worked last. And he was famously known for a great personality. He was a bongo player. He was just a fun loving guy. So he breaks the stereotype that the scientists have to be really nerdy and really intense guys. Yeah.
So this, I'm listening to this audiobook, and it's really nice. The narrator, has done a fantastic job. I'm really enjoying it. There's one of the stories in that book is it was post war. Once the war was done, once the Manhattan Project and his stint at Los Alamos was complete, he went back to Cornell to teach, and he was saying that he was very jaded with physics. He was jaded with life. He was just bored. I mean, he's generally, he hadn't applied his mind the same way as he did to solve problems before the whole Manhattan Project, right? So he was just disenchanted, I guess, with all of this academics and all of that. And and one day he was sitting in the Cornell cafeteria, and a couple of the students were just tossing around these paper plates which have a Cornell logo on it, right? Now, something about that situation, that scene of the paper plates flying in the air and wobbling in a certain way, and the Cornell logo on the plate wobbling in some other way, all of that triggered something in his mind. And he started just to play around. He decided that, he's just going to play around with physics to, find love in it again. And he solved the equations to describe the motion of the wobbling plates that these students are throwing around. That is what led to him coming up with the whole quantum electrodynamics QED, and which ended up winning him the Nobel Prize. Setting the theme for our chat today, what part did luck play in this whole story? One of the things that Feynman does across many of his stories is he does attribute, he's very modest and attributes a lot of things to luck. He just says, I was just at the right place at the right time, and that's how it happens. Is Feynman attributing too much of this success, and especially if you take this specific paper plates situation, is he attributing too much of it to luck? Or, what's going on here? What role is luck really playing? Or how much importance should we give luck in this situation?
Feynman was primarily disillusioned with physics, and he was bored because he really didn't find problems to work on. And so one of the things that opened up his mind to the world around him was kind of when he stopped thinking about physics. He stepped away from it and said, I'm going to do physics for fun. It's not a job anymore. And so what his mind did, I think, at that time was kind of step back from the problem. And instead of thinking of physics the entire time, he was noticing the wobbling logo on the paper plate at the cafeteria. So his very fact that he intentionally stepped away from a problem already set him up to observe something else. Now, how important is it that he actually observed that logo? He could have been looking somewhere else. He could have been looking at the paper plate and not even thinking two hoots about what's going on. Maybe he was even upset at the people in the cafeteria who were having fun. But something in his mind wants to observe, right? So definitely there is an element of luck in the sense that he was there at the moment that this particular phenomenon happened. But he is receptive to something. His mind is looking for something. His mind always asks the question, why? Because if you and I saw that paper plate spinning around, what would we have done? We would have probably not even noticed it. And this is what brings me to sometimes observe my own kids, right? Or kids in general. And they remember things, they notice things, they know what color the kite in the park was, they know what color shirt their friends were wearing. They observe. Somehow, as we become adults, we stop observing. And that is a problem in of itself, right? So even when luck shows up and stares at us in our faces,
Yeah, we don't recognize it.
we don't do anything with it, right?